Hello, Commander, and welcome to the next week of the Radio Sidewinder Talk Show. I'm Commander Felix Jefferson, and I'm joined by...
Commander Honorus Necis.
And that's it this week. We are short 2 members because, sadly, Commander Chives, Rios, and Proud Cypher could not make it this week. But that's all right. We're here to entertain you once again in the black. And so, like usual, we'll get started with the weekly power play highlights. This week for the power play, President Zachary Hudson gathered intelligence from Frey and Lalonde 37-120 and has deployed the federal fleets to establish a more permanent naval presence in both systems. Empress Arissa's Shield of Justice failed to secure Cartene. Sirius CEO Lee Yong-ri has had a very positive week. The momentous discovery of the Antares wreckage, coupled with the continued prosperity of SiriusGov, has been a cause for celebration for the Sirius Corporation. Pranav Antal had another successful week. 2 systems formalized relationships with Utopia and joined the commune. Pirate Lord Archon Delane experienced a relatively quiet week. Senator Denton Petraeus's overcommitted and undermanned fleets withdrew from 5 systems. That's it for this week's power play highlights. And now we can go on to the regular discussion. So what's first on the agenda this week?
First up is, did we want to talk about the Buckyball results? I hear that was quite a bit of fun.
Yeah. The Buckyball 9 finished up shortly after we were done recording last week's episode, actually. And the results were posted the day after, which I have right here. So for the Unlimited Class Open, we have Commander Cookiehole flying the ASP Explorer named RSX-RS Falcon, who won first place with a time of 15 minutes and 8 seconds. That's pretty fast.
It's very impressive.
Yeah. And he actually also won the live event the same day, which he won with a time of 15 minutes 50 seconds. So that's still pretty quick. I mean, only a few seconds more than his run by himself.
Well, he won it, so it must have been pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's, 594 light years it was or something? Yeah, so that's very impressive. Next we have Commander Klig Jr., who was running in the Open Solo event with the ASP Explorer Gray Mullet with a time of 15 minutes 43 seconds.
Again, very nice run.
Very, very nice run. Which, actually, let me just say this. I noticed this this time with the Buckyball. It seems like there were a lot of ASP Explorers. I think they said that there was like a total of 74 that participated.
Definitely does seem to be the popular choice for the races at the moment, that's for sure. Especially for these distance runs, rather than the ones around stations. It's, I think it's something to do with the jump range just helping them out.
Yeah, I mean, what's the max thing on that? Is it like 30 something?
It's something pretty ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty clear why that's such a popular ship in these long distance runs. So next we have the Hauler class. This is the class that was done using only haulers. And we have Commander Allot, who took first place with Explodes on Contact, with a time of 15 minutes, 21 seconds.
That's, for a hauler, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And the name is appropriate. The amount of times I've had haulers ram me. Not that I pirate, of course. No. What were we talking about? Buckyball, yes.
Yes, Buckyball. So, I like that name. But, very, very awesome time for a hauler, especially since that's like right in between the 2 ASP Explorers that were in the other classes. So
he must have stripped that thing pretty low, though.
Yeah. So then the next class, the final class, I should say, we have the Hauler Solo, which is Commander Cheetah, flying Brown Alert 2 with a time of 17 minutes, 15 seconds.
So he didn't quite manage the same kind of 15-minute mark that the other guys did.
Yeah.
But he still did pretty good.
Still pretty well, considering most of the other commanders that were flying did a time even greater than 17 minutes. So yeah, so that was the Buckyball 9.
So something else interesting that's happening, well, that's happened this week, is that I heard a number of commanders are going on quite a little bit of exploration.
Oh, are you talking about the Distant Worlds expedition?
That's correct. Last I heard, there was, how many was it now? Around 800 commanders have signed up for this actually, and they're all going to be running across to the other side of the galaxy, which is quite an endeavor, as I understand it. I'm not one for the exploration myself just yet, but all power to them.
Right,
Well, all power to engines for them.
Yeah, I wish them all the best. I actually heard about that from fellow commander, and they were saying how they were going to go on this huge trip that's going to take 12 weeks and cover 81,000 light years.
It's definitely an endeavor to go on.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, we definitely wish Commander Camzel, Commander Dr. Kai, and the rest of the commanders are taking part. Very good luck, and
try not to fly into any stars.
yeah. Yeah, so that's Distant Worlds, but there was a little bit of a upset in the universe this week. I don't know if you've heard about this.
Yeah, just a tad. If you're talking about what I think you're talking about, it was a very large thing that was posted to Galnet. It's definitely going to shake the humanity. There's going to be, I imagine Cannon's going to be running into this one, and of course we are talking about the discovery of the barnacles.
Yes, the barnacles way out there in the Pleiades Nebula.
I heard a little rumor though, and I'm not sure who the first one to do this was, but the commanders who discovered these, I'm assuming the alien barnacles, one of their first instincts was to begin shooting them.
Yeah, yeah, that was Commander Octo who first found the barnacles, and yeah, they did start shooting them immediately. But at least we found out that by shooting them, you can get these meta-alloys, which it seems to be fixing all the problems that Obsidian Orbital has been starting to get over these few days. So I'm not sure what that's going to do long-term to the station, but hopefully it will fix all the problems that it's facing right now.
Well, do we know too much about these barnacles, or for that matter, these meta alloys? Do we know? I mean, are these metal alloys going to be harmful? Has Canon done any research on these things?
I haven't heard anything personally. All I know is that these meta alloys are stronger and are a lot more useful to us compared to any other metal that we know. And the barnacles had a little symbol on them, which some people have been saying may be Bernard's Loop. Other people saying different galaxies. No one really knows. It's all very mysterious.
So what I'm hearing is I'm going to need some of these meta alloys to reinforce my Vulture's windscreen.
Yeah, it sounds like that.
Yeah, solid plan, I think.
Yeah, we have no idea where these things came from. They just seem to appear. And not too far away, there was a crashed anaconda, so if that has a link, we're not sure. It's just one big mystery right now.
It'll be definitely something to keep our eyes on and see where the research leads to with these things. And not to get it too paranoid, but I'm just saying we're shooting these things. The aliens, Thargoids, might be a little bit annoyed when they come back.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, would we like it if Thargoid came and started shooting at us? Our planets, our homes? Not really.
That's true.
So.
That's true. I'm definitely going to be making a trip out and having a look at these things myself, I think.
Yeah, they're very interesting. I flew out there yesterday with my Cobra, the same one that was making those strange noises. And yeah, it was strange actually, because whenever I picked up those meta alloys, those noises actually stopped in my ship.
Oh, wow.
So, but yeah, then when I sold them, the noises came back. So I don't know what type of effect these meta alloys were having on whatever it is in my ship that's making that noise, but apparently it stops it.
I'll be interested to see what kind of experiments go on between these meta alloys, the barnacles, and these unidentified artifacts, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if they have any links so far. I haven't seen any studies that said that they do, but
These barnacles are only found in the Pleiades system, was it? We haven't found any outside of there.
I'm not entirely sure. There was some speculation that there were some in Polaris and Orion Nebula, but I haven't flown out there to check myself, so I'm not sure.
So, Commander, if you want to find these barnacles yourself, the best place to go is going to be the Pleiades system, correct?
Definitely, yeah. And that would be the Meropa system in, I believe it was 5C, the planet where you want to be.
There we go. So if you'd like to help out with the experimentation and potentially instigating war with Thargoids, you know where to go.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, I believe we have to cut to a commercial break. We'll be right back, Commander. Welcome back, Commander, and we have a little bit of a shakeup for this half of the show, because this time we have a special guest, Commander GeoFalke. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty well,
Doing
yeah.
well, thank you.
So we brought Geo on just to go over the last Buckyball because, well, not only was he the only commander to do it in an orca, but he did 3 separate runs. Yeah, so the first question I really wanted to ask you was, why an orca?
And my response to that would be, why not an orca? I mean, that's kind of the spirit of the ship itself. I mean, sure, there are other ships in the same bracket, even cheaper than it, that do everything the orca does better. But I mean, that's kind of the beauty of the thing. And if you fly an orca, you just don't care what other commanders think. You're going to do the same things they do, but you're going to do it with style. And so, even day 1, looking at the leaderboards for Buckyball 9, you look there, all you saw were nothing but Asp Explorers and the one crazy guy who brought out a Diamondback Explorer. And like, you know what? No, that's boring. If I'm going to start Buckyball, I'm going to start with a bang. And I did haul 32 tons of liquor for whoever I happened to run into along the way. Unfortunately, all I saw out there were smugglers who had no idea what Buckyball was.
So how much did this ship end up costing you?
Initially, or with the run setup I had?
In the end, when you launched, how much was the ship worth?
Oh, Lord. That was a while ago. I think, ballpark estimate, I would say just under 100 million.
Wow.
That's quite a bit.
That's a lot of credits.
And the ship itself wasn't too horribly expensive. It's the modifications that go into it, that's the real killer there. That a lot of commanders seem to forget about.
Yeah, they just buy the ship and then don't have any money for the modifications. I know I've done that before.
It's even worse when they sell off all their ships in the hopes of being able to actually afford the new one, and then they realize, oh, the new one sucks because I don't have any modifications for it.
Right, yeah. So are you that type of person listening, Commander? Take our advice. Don't sell all your ships just to buy one, especially if you don't have enough credits to modify afterwards.
And super especially not if you don't have the insurance, because as we all know, accidents happen, and they usually happen to stock ships.
Can you remind me what your time was?
The Orca, you guys probably have the time pulled up somewhere, but if I remember correctly, it was 43 minutes? Give or take some change?
So do you think that's the best you can manage to get that guy going? Or do you think there's some improvements you can make to make a faster run?
Oh, that was absolutely not the best time I could have made, especially considering how I botched 2 fuel scooping runs and had to wait for my frameshift drive to cool down. And the fact that it wasn't completely race-spec'd, how I was also hauling cargo. I could say I easily could have shaved at least 3, maybe 5 minutes off that runtime if I actually knew what I was doing.
Right, yeah.
Besides, that was also my first run, and I hadn't had a whole lot of the systems mapped out. So there was a bit of route replotting.
Yeah.
All things considered, I'd say that's a respectable time.
It's very nice.
And especially since you were the only person to bring an orca, too, so that was very nice.
I mean, to be fair, there aren't a whole lot of space whale jockeys out there to begin with, and I'm sure even less of them are aspiring race ship pilots.
So do you think you're going to be setting a bit of a trend with this? Do you think that we're going to see more unusual ships making these Buckyball runs?
More orcas, probably not, but unusual, unorthodox ships, definitely. I mean, after I finished my run and I started hanging out in the shotgun shine talking with the other Buckyball racers, a lot more people started showing up saying, hey, you know what? I can do that too. And all of a sudden, there was just a brief explosion of really weird ships on the leaderboard. I mean, you had referred earlier about an eagle run. I mean, you wouldn't take an eagle out like that, but yet you did it.
Yeah, exactly. That was pretty crazy.
I really don't care if I didn't place a competitive time. In my opinion, I set out to do something and I achieved it. And there was definitely an explosion in the different types of ships you saw on that leaderboard instead of just nothing but ASP explorers.
Yeah, yeah. And that seems to be the spirit of Buckyball, is not only to get the best time, but also have a lot of fun while you're doing it. Well, yeah, thank you for the interview, Geo. And actually, I heard you've been doing some interviewing of your own. Is that true?
Actually, yes, that is true. I'm attempting to be Radio Sidewinder's embedded racing reporter. So I'll be focusing on racing events, the people who participate in them, the people who organize them. Try to get some publicity going, sponsor these events as much as possible, just try to bring everyone together as best as we can. And what better way to do that than to showcase the event from the event?
Yeah, exactly. I know we have a few reporters reporting on events in the past, but it would definitely be a lot better to have someone that can actually go to the event, participate, and get the insight from the commanders that are
Plus,
there.
it makes interviewing people a lot easier if they actually recognize you in the first place.
I was going to say, making these runs yourself, you do have a certain inside look into these things, and you know a bit more about it than someone like I would, who hasn't done one of these runs before. You can give a certain insight that other people who are listening might not, commanders might not know. They might not be able to wrap their head around it quite like you can.
That's a fair observation.
Yeah. Well, I wish you luck, not only on the next Buckyball, which you are participating in, but also on your new segment for Radio Sidewinder. And sadly, that's all we got time for this week. Tune in next week, Commander, for the next episode of the Radio Sidewinder Talk Show.